Well, I think, when I look back now, I think a lot of it was the same as anything that I would do when I would move to a new place, because I grew up in upstate New York, so I go 1,200 miles to go to Minnesota,
Right.
to the Twin Cities to go to college. So, I have people in my dormitory and friends and roommates and things, so I'm meeting all kinds of people, but, I'm looking for other people who like this music. So when I meet Grant, and we immediately became friends because, we were, listening to the same kind of music and, had the same ideas about things. We thought, maybe we should start a band. I remember him saying, "Do you play you play an instrument?" I said, "Yeah, I play guitar." He's like, "Prove it." I said, "Well, come with me." I go back to the dorm and I show, and he'd be like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Well, I play drums, I play keyboards." I'm like, "Oh, we should start a band." He's like, "I know someone who plays bass, works at a different record store." So, it was mostly a way to, sort of a way to meet people.
Okay.
And also, in Minnesota, like where the same as where I grew up, it's incredibly cold. The winters are very long. So you're indoors all the time.
Right.
So, for 6 months of the year, you're inside, so you have to do something. So you rehearse, you write songs.
That's an interesting point because kind of where I wanted to go was with that band. I think there were 6 albums between 1983 and 1987, which is quite prolific. There were a lot of you did write and work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So was that part of it that it's just it's too cold to go outside. Let's just write some songs.
I think that's part of it. I think also, we were all writing, just writing so many songs, and we were always touring. When we would go on tour for, when we would tour when Metal Circus comes out, we're already playing songs that will be on Zen Arcade. Mm-hmm. I think the worst that it got was towards the end of Zen Arcade Tour, we were playing things that were on New Day Rising and things that would be on Flip Your Wig. Right. So, right. And again, growing up in the 1960s, the Beatles put out two albums a year, so why not?
Mm. It's almost because these days that doesn't happen anymore.
Well, people release songs every 2 or 3 months, and maybe the album is maybe less important now to young people, but yeah. So we were, I think we were just copying what we knew as kids. You have to have 2 albums a year. You have to tour all the time. Yeah.
When you were releasing those albums, were you aware of you probably couldn't have been, but were you aware of kind of the impact it would have on kind of the punk landscape and the alternative music landscape?
Not as we were doing it until maybe the end, somewhere in 1985 we knew. I think it was, maybe 1985 we started to realize that, we were doing something. I think we were one of a number of groups that was changing the way people listen to music. I think I think I can speak for the band when there's a publication in New York City. It was a free publication called Village Voice, and there was a music critic named Robert Christogal. And they would have year-end best albums every year, and all the music journalists from America would vote on records. And I remember that we had 2 albums in the top 10 in the same year.
Wow.
And then I'm thinking, okay, people are watching us now. People are watching what we do, and they're paying attention. And it's clearly there's like Madonna, Bruce Springsteen, Hüsker Dü, U2, Hüsker Dü replacements, and you're sort of like, oh, okay. So then right? Then you're like, uh-oh, everybody's watching.
But that's an interesting list, I said, the way you put it, because then you have Madonna and those type of people who are very pop, very mainstream, and then you have you guys who are very alternative. Mm-hmm. So What was that like being accepted as an alternative band in a way?
Well, to be put in that category, I mean, we were happy that the work was recognized, but I think also, when I look back, it's, then it's the beginning of problems also.
Okay.
Because then things are all different. You're no longer just this band that makes music, but now you're this important band. And I mean, sometimes your ego can change, sometimes your desires change, sometimes your goals can change. And and also how the business worked changed. I mean, then we went to a major label, and that was a new kind of pressure that I don't think we understood. I mean, we knew what it would be like, but you never know the sort of the pressure and some of the maneuvers that the business will do until you get there. I mean, when you get into that league, if you don't understand the rules, and we're still trying to be a punk rock band. We want to manage ourselves and do all the, and they're like, oh, no, you have to hire all these people. And we're like,
and I mean, we don't have to get into it really, but this is, I think, also around the time that you mentioned the people around you and that your manager passed away, right? And then that was, I think you said about this, that this was kind of the end of the beginning of the end in a way.
It was definitely part of the end. I think I could go back maybe 6 months earlier, maybe the middle of 1986. When we're on Warner Brothers and all these things, I think that was when the band really started to end. I think everybody started, becoming different people. I know, for Greg, the bass player, he moved about an hour away from the cities and was living in a small town and had a business. I think Grant was spending more time with different people and different, he was taking on different things that he wanted to explore. And I quit drinking. And, I think that's so when everybody goes from doing this to doing different things and all that outside pressure, and of course things will change.
After the band broke up, were you disillusioned with the music industry?
Yeah. A little bit. I mean, I wanted to stay in it, but I was a little bit lost. I mean, I had this thing for 8 years, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And at this time, I'm up in a farm, away from the cities, and I'm, just working by myself on music, and I have no idea what's going to happen. So disillusioned. Well,
might be too strong a word.
Yeah, maybe not disillusioned, but just I think I felt a little bit more lost and separate from the business, and wanting just to sort of heal myself and make music for myself and make music that was different from what I had done.